Hey, it's John Hope Bryant, and this is Money and Wealth on the Black Effect Podcast Network on iHeart Radio. I'm the founder of Operation Hope and other for-profit companies. I'm an entrepreneur, and this is my weekly ministry of hope. Look at my T-shirt today. I promote the Black Coffee Company at the 2024 Black Effect Network Podcast Festival, which happened a couple months ago here in Atlanta, the moral capital of America. And the Black Coffee Company, I was introduced there by Charlemagne, thy God, and because he hosted the whole thing, obviously, and he featured them. And specifically, Nikki Sparrow of iHeartRadio walked me over and said, "You got to meet these brothers." And she was not wrong. And I was very impressed with them. First, there are 5 founders, and they weren't playing games with each other. They weren't ego tripping. They weren't trying to argue about who had the bigger title or who was going to speak to me or not. They weren't playing crab in the barrel. They weren't rolling their eyes at each other or flipping each other off or playing silly games. And as simple as this sounds, this is a miracle. I mean, a camel is a horse designed by committee. And if you got people working together who are not emotionally stable, who are not normal, to be normal is sort of abnormal these days, um, increasingly. If you're not dealing with stable people, you're going to have an unstable everything else. And everything compounds. Success builds on itself. You build wealth in your sleep. You make money during the day. You've heard me say that before. And failure compounds. It builds on itself. You've heard me say, if you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th. I'm going to break down in this podcast episode the ministry of hope, the ministry of finance this week. Mindset matters. And Operation Hope, Hope Ventures specifically, invested $25,000 into the Black Coffee Company in Atlanta. Yes, they've got a great product. Yes, it tastes good. Yes, it's delicious. But they also are well run. Best I can tell, they're doing it the right way. I'm not in there. I've not been into the depths of their books and records, so I'm not endorsing all of that. But I am saying, based on what I saw, I was impressed enough that for the first time in 32 years, Operation Hope through Hope Ventures made a direct investment out of 450,000 some odd Black businesses that we've nurtured, supported, inspired, created, advanced through the 1 Million Black Business Initiative, 1MBB, in partnership with Shopify. This is the only time I reached in and actually put direct capital into a business. We've had banks finance businesses, and we've had lawyers and attorneys and everybody. All this is good stuff, right? But they were raising capital, and I just thought it was a good bet to give them a little bit of a jolt. So we did that, and I went and spoke at their Black Coffee black tie event recently in the last few days. Was so inspired, just confirmed that we made the right decision. And I think that they have the capacity of going across the nation and across the world with a brand, because they're not Black for a living. They're great. They're good business people who happen to be Black, and a good product that happens to be produced by Black people, not a Black business or Black product. I'm getting sort of off on a thing here, but only Black folks we get emotional about this stuff. We put Black owned business in the window, right? You don't see Jewish people putting Jewish owned business in the window, or Latino owned business in the window, or white owned business in the window, right? Or Indian owned business in the window, Asian owned. No, just African Americans. We're saying, unconsciously, what you're saying is anybody but Black folks. You may be a little uncomfortable walking up in here. You're in a green business. You're not a Black business. You're a green business in the U.S. at least. Or wherever you are, you're the color of that currency. In the US, the color is green, and you want everybody to come in your business. You want to then take that currency, that income, those sales, and then translate that into profit and wealth creation and job creation and growth of your business. And if you want to start a philanthropy that then focuses on lifting up folks from your neighborhood, fantastic. But you can't distribute money like a socialist until you first collect it like a capitalist. And everybody knows you're Black. They can see you. So the Black Coffee Company, clearly it's in their name. But when you walk in there, you just smell good coffee, and you see good customer service, and you don't see drama. and instability. We need to knock this stuff off. I'm getting ahead of myself on this podcast. You see, this one's near and dear to me as a person. I believe we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Energy matters. So let's start with the trending topics for this podcast. I'm going to pick on somebody rich and somebody poor. Poor is relative. I don't mean poor as in you don't have a roof over your head or food on the table. I mean, you've got too much month at the end of your money. You can't go on vacation or blink without thinking about it. So the rich example, and we're going to insert some of the content in at least the video links. When you listen to this, you can go and watch it also on video if you like, online, probably at YouTube, but wherever you happen to consume your content. And the background of the first trending topic is Kanye West. He has a bunch of other names, but I'm going to ignore all that. It's ridiculous. My man needs to. I mean, it's not on me to say he should take his medicine, but he just seems ever since he lost his mother, God rest her soul, who seems to be a rock in his life. It just seems that he has been less than stable. Yes, I said it. He can be a genius and be unstable. He can create great music and be less than stable. You don't do some of the things that he's done and set himself and his economics on fire as an artist and as a businessman and set his net worth on fire. This is an example I'm going to give today. Unless you are insane, which I don't believe he is, crazy, and stupid, which I don't believe he is, or just unstable, imbalanced, which means in this example, he should take his medicine and go to a counselor. Um, why am I picking on him? I'm not picking on him. He's the one who bought a $54 million mansion in Malibu. I think it was $54 million, some crazy number, in Malibu that was designed by one of the most amazing architects in the world, out of Japan. And this home on the beach, situated between two architectural treasures, was itself an architectural treasure. Go look at some before and after pictures so you can see for yourself. It was, art alive, and he bought it for over $50 million, and then proceeded to destroy it. Like literally destroy it. Like Jack Hammer destroyed it. Said he didn't want any bathrooms, didn't want any plumbing, didn't want any heating, didn't want any infrastructure whatsoever. It's oceanfront now. He wanted to destroy the uh, view, the glass, all that. He wanted all of that to go. You ended up with a shell, a concrete shell, now being exposed to the elements. The architect, by the way, I believe the architect's name Ando, I believe it is, and I believe, I don't have absolute confirmation of this, but I believe Ando was an architect that his ex-wife loved. If that's the truth, then here you go. He hired a guy, a laborer, to come in with a jackhammer and just tear the whole damn thing up. Well, he got into trouble. He bought this in 2021. He got into economic trouble. You all know the rest of the story. And then he had to dump this property that he had destroyed. And now he's trying to sell it for, I believe the number is 30 something million. And well, it's 57 million is what he bought it for, almost $60 million. The Japanese master Tadoi Ando is the architect. And now he's trying to sell it for 30 something million. No one's buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the story. I think this is lighting yourself on fire. You just destroyed half of the value. And I don't think anybody's gonna buy it for 30 million. 35 million is what he's trying to get for it. I mean, it's nothing. It's just got land value, and somebody's going to have to redo this entire house, is my sense. Um, it's a scene of violence. I believe the realtor or somebody close to this, no, somebody from New Yorker Magazine described the jackhammered home. Sorry, it's not a house, it's not a home anymore. It's a house. It's a thing, actually. He described it as a scene of violence, and I believe that's the best way to sum this up as we move on to something. There's nothing to say here. There's nothing to see here. You look at it online, you look at the link I'll give you. There's nothing to talk about. It's just plain silly. And it was a stupid act. I don't think he's a stupid person. I think he's brilliant as an artist, but it was a stupid act. It will not help his net worth. It will help to destroy it. And he keeps on like this, and he will be broke. He was a billionaire. I don't know what his net worth is now, but it's heading, my guess is it's sliding downward. You keep doing stuff like this, plus all the lawsuits and the lawyers and all that stuff. And if your outflow exceeds your inflow, then your overhead will be your downfall. It's just math. It's a whole bunch of folks who thought they'd never go broke. Ivan Allen thought he would never go broke. I mean, you guys are talking about these basketball players. I did a whole podcast on this. I'm thinking about two different people at the same time, but stop laughing. You know what I'm talking about. And you can put in the notes because I know you're laughing at me. The guy who made $100 million on his basketball contract, and then when they tried to extend his contract, um, he said, and they offered him, 15, $20 million. He said, "I got to feed my children," and now it's driving me nuts of who this person was. I've got to redeem myself. And before this podcast is over, I'm going to tell you who it is. Right. So the point of this is you can make a fortune and still go broke. And another example of this, of being broke, right, and making poor decisions. Okay, because just because you're broke doesn't mean you made poor decisions. Um, just because you're broke, I'll repeat that, doesn't mean you made poor decisions. There's a difference between being broke and being poor. Uh, yes, I got it right. Allen Iverson. Stop laughing, you guys. You guys knew I was onto something. You're just teasing me and egging me on because I don't follow all the details of every basketball player and team. Ask me about motorsports. I know that. Ask me about Tony, my brother, my partner, Tony Rester's team, the Atlanta Hawks. I can tell you about them. Iverson is the gentleman. And when they tried to give him a contract extension, he said, "No, no, I got to feed my family," and now he's absolutely broke. uh, mm So now, of course, I love the details. So I wanted to get all the details. Yeah, he said, yes, Allen Iverson is famous for remarking, "I got to feed my family" when discussing contract negotiations. This quote has often been cited as an example of professional athletes emphasizing the financial pressures and responsibilities they feel despite their seemingly large earnings. Iverson statement highlights the complexities and personal stakes involved in financial aspects of a sports career. No, this is just stupidity. No, I'm not letting folks get away with that. It's just stupidity. He was offered an extension amount that was more than most people's playing amount, and he just shot himself in the foot. And look, there's a difference between being broke and being poor. Being broke is economic. Being poor is a disabling frame of mind, a depressed condition of your spirit, and you must vow never, ever, ever to be poor again. Um, let's go to somebody not financially rich. Because rich is a contract, by the way. Wealthy as you hear, it's a mindset, but wealth, generational wealth or wealth is a whole different thing than getting rich. You can get rich on a contract. Allen Iverson got a contract. Yee, what Kanye has had contracts. The money can come in, it has velocity, it will leave, and you can go dead broke because it's only about making a living. You're not making a life. But you make money during the day, you build wealth in your sleep. That's compounding, right? Stocks, bonds, investments, real estate, small business, big business, home ownership, um, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's building wealth in your sleep and mindset. So this poor example, again, poor, not broke. This young lady, this is a trending topic. This guy, the Big Kenny, he's on Instagram. You should go and watch his Instagram piece on this. He talks about he was talking to a 50-year-old friend. I'm only talking given the age because it's important to know this wasn't a 20-year-old who didn't know better. Somebody who should have known better. And she was wondering why she couldn't keep a man, get a man, keep a man, whatever. And she's a smart lady, the gentleman says, but she had dumb friends. And to make a long story short, she met a dude, and the dude was gainfully employed and had checked all the boxes, and he invited her to go someplace she wanted to go. She wanted to go to Cancun her whole life. He invited her to go to Cancun, bought the tickets, paid for the hotel, paid for the car service, transportation, everything. It just said, look, when we get there, can we buy groceries together and take turns cooking? I believe I've got that story right. Sounds reasonable, right? She went to her girlfriends. She said yes. Then went to her girlfriends and said, what do you think? And her girlfriend's like, girl, if he's going to be a man, he should pay for everything. He should pay for everything. And how can he invite you to your birthday trip and won't pay for everything? Anyway, she went back and told the dude, and the dude was like, cool, no problem. I'm going to take somebody else. So she's like, what do you mean? You're not taking me. You're going to take somebody else. Yes, I was going to take you. I was excited to take you. I wanted you to be my guest. And really, I really wanted you to be in my life. But if you're going to listen to dumb friends telling you what you should do with your life and you don't know any better yourself, then you don't have the sense that God gave you. And you don't have the faith and the confidence to lead with determination and distinction. So you can't be my partner, my travel mate, and certainly not my wife. And that lady and people who think like her will be alone for the rest of their life unless they change their behavior and change their mindset. Entitlement, that's entitlement and stupidity. And I bet you her girlfriends have never been to Cancun. I bet you her girlfriends don't have a man. I certainly bet you her girlfriend's not married. Yeah, you can hate on me all you want. It's I may not be right, but I know I'm not wrong.